Here are the 10 most popular Netflix movies of all time. So let's have a look at the most watched movies at Netflix. This list is accurate as of January 2022, and the information comes directly from an article published in The Insider. Today we will have a look at the movies, include a short description and what the critics generally have to say about it. So let's start. Coming in at number 10 is ENOLA Holmes, which came out in 2020 with a stream time of 189.9 million hours. While searching for her missing mother, intrepid teen ENOLA Holmes uses her sleuthing skills to outsmart Big Brother Sherlock and help a runaway lord. The Rotten Tomatoes critics score was 91%, and here's what the critics had to say. While the mystery might be elementary, the storytelling is winkingly subversive, proclaiming that a new and welcome game is afoot. Coming in at number 9, we have Spencer Confidential, which also came out in 2020 with a stream time of around 197.3 million hours. So, Spencer, an ex-cop and ex-con, teams up with aspiring fighter Hawk to uncover a sinister conspiracy tied to the deaths of 2 Boston police officers. However, not as high as the previous one, the Rotten Tomatoes critics score was 37%. So here's what the critics had to say. They said that it's an action comedy mystery thriller that manages to spectacularly fail at all of the above. An algorithmic abomination that's as coldly constructed as it is clumsily made. And this was said by The Guardian. Coming in at number 8 is Six Underground, which came out in 2019, which had an approximate stream time of 205.5 million hours. After faking his death, a tech billionaire recruits a team of international operatives for a bold and bloody mission to take down a brutal dictator. The Rotten Tomatoes critics score was 36%, and here's what the critics had to say. Bay's clumsy but visually impressive movie should partly sate anyone waiting for the superior thrills and spills of the next Fast and Furious outing. Coming in at number 7, we have The Kissing Booth 2, which was released in 2020, with an approximate stream time of 209.25 million hours. With college decisions looming, Ellie juggles her long-distance romance with Noah, changing relationship with bestie Lee, and feelings for a new classmate. The Rotten Tomatoes critics score was 27%, and here's what the critics had to say. You can soak in the movie's basic premise and overacting just as long as you know that this pool is shallow. Coming in at number 6, which is one of my personal favourites, is The Irishman, which came out in 2019 and had an approximate streaming time of 214.57 million hours. Hitman Frank Sheeran looks back at the secrets he kept as a loyal member of the Buffalino crime family in this acclaimed film from Martin Scorsese. The Rotten Tomatoes critics score was at a whopping 95%, and here's what they had to say. While The Irishman is like many mob movies about violence and betrayal, it's a work of a filmmaker who has earned the right to sum up this genre. Number 5, The Unforgivable, which was released in 2021, with a stream time of approximately 214.69 million hours. Released from prison into a society that won't forgive her, a woman convicted of murder searches for the little sister she was forced to leave behind. And the Rotten Tomatoes critics score was 37%, and here's what they had to say. A dreadful and dreary melodrama. Despite Bullock's noble efforts to play against type, The Unforgivable is largely forgettable. This was a pretty harsh thing said by a critic. Anyways, coming in at number 4, we have Extraction, which came out in 2020 as well, with an approximate stream time of 231.3 million hours. A hardened mercenary's mission becomes a soul-searching race to survive when he's sent to Bangladesh to rescue a drug lord's kidnapped son. The Rotten Tomatoes critics score was a very average 67%, and they said that the one big weapon it has is Hemsworth's ability to juxtapose his brawn with his approachable charm, is one it never pulls off from its holster. Coming in at number 3, we have Bird Box, which was released in 2018 and has an approximate stream time of 282.02 million hours. 5 years after an ominous, unseen presence drives most of society to suicide, a survivor and her 2 children make a desperate bid to reach to safety. Rotten Tomatoes critics score is 64%, and they said this. Unfortunately, Bird Box puts these performers through familiar paces. in roles of such tight typecasting that they seem like recurring characters in an extended TV series. Number 2, Don't Look Up. 2021 was the release date, and it had an approximate stream time of 321.52 million hours. 2 astronomers go on a media tour to warn humankind of a planet-killing comet hurtling towards Earth. Rotten Tomatoes critic score was 55%, and here's what critics had to say. McKay's movies are not particularly pointed in their satire and, as time has gone on, have increasingly settled into their preferred form of harangue. Now, the one you have been waiting for, coming in at number 1 is Red Notice 2021, with a whopping stream time of 364.02 million hours. An FBI profiler pursuing the world's most wanted art thief becomes his reluctant partner in crime to catch an elusive crook who's always one step ahead. Surprisingly, this had a very low Rotten Tomatoes critics score of 36%. And here is what the critics had to say. Red Notice is limp and dull, and does more to showcase the shortcomings of each of its marquee idols than it does to highlight their bankable charisma. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed today's show, and please remember to like, comment and subscribe. Until next time, goodbye.